Meeting will come to order. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming. This is a meeting of the Lakeville Conservation Commission. Today is July 12th. My name is Bob Bouchard. I'm chairman. And if we go around and have the members introduce themselves.
Josh Verity.
Nancy Yates.
Mark Knox.
Joseph Chamberlain.
Fred Fredima.
John LeBlanc.
Very good. We have a few extra things on the agenda tonight, so we'll get started so we're not here too late. First is a continuation from Prime Engineering, but I don't see Niles. Did anyone hear from him?
No, it wasn't Niles.
He's not with Prime.
No,
Did I say?
no,
Oh, I'm sorry.
no.
I'm sorry, yeah.
So, no one here from Prime?
Anybody representing 8 Paul Ave?
Remember, they said they didn't know if they were gonna be ready,
Yeah.
right?
We didn't
But
hear
you
from
didn't
him,
hear from them, so we just continue it to our next meeting?
I guess.
No, short things.
Well, let's take a vote. All those in favor of extending?
Want me to make a motion?
Yeah, make it.
I move that we continue the 8 Paul Ave notice of intent until our next scheduled meeting.
25th?
26th.
26th.
26.
July 26th at 7 p.m.
I'll second it.
Okay. Motion and second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right. So next is, according to this, Ram Island. Who do we have here? Go ahead. Yeah, yeah. Before we get started, could you make something clear for us? When this project started, everyone was referring to the property as Goat Island, and then it became Ram, and there were a few others in between. What's the official word?
On the deed is Ram Island, but to the pond, everyone knows it as Goat Island.
Goat Island, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's
We
right,
were
or
confused.
First Island,
That's
so.
That's good. We don't need to get any more confused. All right, good. Would you introduce yourself, please? for the
Sure,
record?
my name's Nicholas Valoso. I am representing Twin Boys LLC, who owns Ram Island. I just want to give you a quick rundown of what we've been doing out there and what we're, I guess, requesting to do. So we've owned the island since 2003. It's sat essentially untouched besides us going out there just walking it. The past few years, we've had some vandalism out there. They ripped down the trespassing signs, so we started putting trespassing signs up. I am actually getting married in September, and we're looking to do a small ceremony out there. So we started going out there, clearing the fire trails that are on there currently, picking up dead trees, down trees, cutting them up. And we were able to get the barge in there, and I saw the last meeting. I wanted to kind of clarify a few things on that. The Kubota that went out there was not on a pontoon boat. We have a barge that holds, I think, 15 or 16,000 pounds. So this Kubota was not underwater. We use ramps to get it on, doesn't touch the water. It goes right off into it. We weren't doing any site work out there. I know there was reference to construction and digging holes, but none of that has been done. We've simply been clearing up brush, trimming some paths, and that's it. I also heard from the last meeting, there was mention of work being done on the north side of the island, which I'm not familiar with, because we haven't gone anywhere on the island at the shoreline except for that one spot that you witnessed. And that's essentially it. We wanted to clean it up mostly for the vandalism that's been going out there and putting up signs and stuff like that, so you can see it from the water.
As I had mentioned to, is it Jerry is his name?
That's my father. My father is Jerry.
Okay. When we spoke on the phone, that what prompted all this were a number of phone calls we got to the office, and we had to follow up. And the only information we had was some snapshots that were taken. You could see something orange in the distance, and it was alleged that it was a Kubota and that it was sitting on pontoon. We didn't really have any details, so it was more of a fact-finding thing than anything.
Sure.
And there was, of course, some other references, like Willie mentioned the North Island. So you're saying you had no activities?
We can't even get to the north side of the island from the island. So when you get on the island, there's a big open area with not many trees, and then it's pretty good brush, kind of from there to, or Cottage Lane. That comes, or is that Plymouth Street? Plymouth Street.
Plymouth Street,
That's
yeah.
the north side of the island. We can't even get there
Okay.
on the island. Even walking through is difficult. There's one big down tree that's been there for 8, 9 years. But I don't know what construction you were referring to over
So
there.
there were no excavation whatsoever.
0 holes done,
Okay.
nothing. Even site clearing, there's been nothing.
If you're gonna hold an event out there, what are you gonna do for access?
It's a small,
a dog.
same thing everyone else does on the pond, all 1,400 houses, just a small little pull up to the shore.
Mhm.
We're not trying to do anything major here. We're just trying to clean it up.
Okay. Is there more to be done?
We stopped once we got the letter.
Okay.
So yes, there is more to be done.
All right, how long before the big event?
I think the other day was 2 months.
Oh, okay, you have plenty of time. All right, I don't wanna, do we have any questions, Mark?
We appreciate you coming in. If you did plan on removing stumps or something, we do just want to know.
Okay.
You know, it's probably, and I can't speak for the whole board, I'm just making my comments, that if you did need to remove some stumps in the clearing or where the ceremony is going to be, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Would probably, and again, I can't speak for everybody, require some silt fence around that area until you stabilize where the stumps were going to be removed.
Okay.
My recommendation to you is if you were going to be doing something or you wanted to do something, you're in front of us. And now's your opportunity. If you wanted to clear an area, plant some grass so it looks nice, let's talk about it, you know.
Okay, there was actually one thing I forgot to mention. We do want to build a small platform just for us to get married on. The size has yet to be determined.
Is that like a couple sonotubes and 4x4
No
posts?
sonotubes, nothing. It's not permanent.
Not permanent.
Correct.
That's the key.
Yep, not permanent. It's just gonna be sitting out there on the ground with the shims or something, the wood out there that we might just cut little trees and then just place it on top of it.
And would
Other
you
than-
put like a dock or anything for easier access when you do that?
So-
Even a floating dock?
We don't have floating docks. We have, what we've been doing on the east side of the island. We put a dock there, try to prevent people from coming out with a no trespassing, but we still see people parking up against it. So when it gets closer, we would probably just put a dock on the right side of that clearing, on the south side of the island. Standard dock, like you see on Long Pond, just feet and that's it.
Okay.
And what about afterwards, for the rest of the season? Any activities? planned?
Yeah, no, this is the only activity that's been planned in 10 years.
You remove the dock afterwards?
We leave it on the island. We won't leave it in during the winter now. But actually, I believe you mentioned it, you can see a little portion of one of the dock sections that's right up on the beach there.
Yeah,
That's the one that we've been using every year.
so you pull it over, you know?
But we'll lift it up. It's hard to pull, so 6 people can easily put that in the water.
Do you guys have a permit for the dock? Just
For that site, I'm not sure.
Good question.
that wouldn't come from us anyway.
No,
That comes from the state, is that correct?
Would be
Right.
the chapter 91.
DEP?
But it would be a concurrent filing with us also. along
Yeah,
with
right,
DEP.
correct.
They're the issuing authority.
Mhm.
Question for you, all the material that you're getting rid of, the dead brush and trees and so forth, where's it going?
Middle of the island.
Bonfire?
No. We would have no plans on a fire because obviously a pump and things out there, we have no electricity. But we've been putting it off to the side,
In one pile?
in the middle of a large pile.
That's asking for trouble when it dries out. When you're talking about having a trespassing problem,
We kept it away from the clear area, the open area. These kids build fire pits all over the island. And we put this where you can't really get to.
I remember some years ago, there was a similar issue on the other side of the island, and the same thing. Vandals were coming in, making bonfires, et cetera, and yet.
We've had several calls about bonfires that we've had to go out there and put out.
Anybody else?
Did you say there are fire roads or accesses?
There
on
are
the
paths that
island?
we've been clearing. I don't know if anyone's ever been on Second Island, but between the houses they have just passed, so the fire can't jump from one side to the other, and that's,
Sure.
so it's just walking
So
paths
it's a
essentially.
fire break.
Correct, yes.
Will you take the platform apart after you're done and go away?
It'll be a small platform. We haven't decided what we're doing with it. So we haven't discussed that.
It's more fuel.
More fuel.
Yeah.
Throw it on the brush fire.
Again, I don't believe this is any different than anyone's house.
Mhm.
It's still private property, just like everyone's residence, so.
Which has seemed to deter the vandals, right?
Recently, all the signs are still up because we check it more often now. We go by on the boats and make sure.
Well, the bonfires are a little outside of our
Yeah.
jurisdiction,
Yeah, true,
so.
yeah.
If you wanted to remove some stumps, I don't think that we would have a problem with it as long as you said, it's gonna be here and it would probably require you to put some silt fence until you could put some seed down or whatever, but whatever you need to do, like I say, I just ask, you're here, so.
So right now, we have no plans to remove a stump. If there was a stump that was being removed, I guess if I can ask for that now, it's in the middle of the island. That's where the clearing is currently.
What we'd ask you to do is, if there's any change in what you're describing right now,
Mhm.
call the office, let us know, and we'll make a determination whether it involves anything in addition. Worst case, I can go out and take a look at it, and you can show me what it is you propose to do.
Okay.
I get a free ride, right?
Glenn, you gonna give them a free ride out?
You told me on the phone.
Put them in the bucket and drive them over?
Water skis.
Want to help the boys out. They're doing a good job cleaning up. They do a good job. I've seen other work they've done. They come from a family of construction people. Kenny Resendes, he taught them well.
So you're the one that's doing some of the,
What's that?
you're the one doing some of the mechanical
I'm gonna
work,
help them out over there, yeah.
putting a machine over there?
Well, you got a hoe over, they've got a backhoe over there. You don't need
Resident?
a-
It's,
I don't need-
it's not
don't
on
need
the
a big
island
truck.
right now.
Okay.
You know, the boy
Right.
just wants to get married, clean the place up, make it look nice. They invested money in it. It's just too bad that others go and take a disadvantage to it. It's happened in other places. I hope that he curbs the problem, and I'm sure he will.
Okay, we ready?
We're ready.
All right, I make a motion that we, issue a -3
Negative
determination
3.
with the one condition being don't throw anything in the water.
Okay.
I'll
Okay.
I'll second that.
Okay, motion and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you, guys.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Good night, fellas.
Good night.
Good one.
All right, thanks for
See
coming.
you, Glenn.
Bye-bye.
All right, moving along. Next is Long Pond Associates. It's just a discussion.
Me?
A discussion prior to an NOI, am I correct?
Yes, prior to our NOI, the NOI is on for our next meeting. I just happy to get it out there early. If there's any question at all on this before the next meeting, please let me know so I can answer it.
This is weed removal
Yeah, this is the weed
Just like the
harvester.
Nemasket, same machine.
with
Yeah.
that machine, and they
Yeah.
have locations that they're gonna dispose of the
Put it
Yeah.
out, dries it
material.
out, secure landfill, yep.
And bury it, right?
The thing is,
Very-
because of the red belly cooter, the only time they can do it in the year is like that,
First
either
2
the
weeks of
first
August.
or second week in August. So they signed up with the harvester for the second week of August, so that's probably when it's happened. So this is cutting it pretty close, because it took Natural Heritage an awful long time to come up with,
And essentially,
how they were gonna let them do it.
they're essentially gonna try it and see if it works, right?
Right, this is a small project this
Yeah.
year, I mean, but we got a lot of money from our state legislators to make this happen. So
for-
this is the
yeah.
trial run, and next year it will be a lot more extensive, hopefully.
What was
And
it?
the permitting will be, just be added to instead of starting from
Let's
scratch.
hope it works.
And the Long Pond Association, they're doing a really great job. They
Yes.
got their nonprofit status, and,
And this grant
it's
from the
really
state
gonna
was
happen.
like $250,000, was it?
Twice, we got 250 for last year,
Yeah,
and they're gonna
yeah.
try to get another 250,000 for the next year, so, until, they'd eventually like to get their own machine, do regular maintenance, so this is the beginning of a really good thing. for the pond that everybody's been waiting for a long time. And Bob and I agreed, but I think we need to vote on it, that we would waive their $75 fee.
Oh, yeah.
It's a wonderful thing for the whole Long Pond
Yep.
community.
We're willing to do that.
Has anybody ever thought, I know in Maine, they looked at it for a while, putting tarps over the area.
Benthic mats.
Yeah, we did that already
we
about
did
10
that
years ago.
About 10 years ago, yeah.
Did it work?
Yeah, in the small area, but it's
Yeah.
very labor intensive.
Too
Yeah.
much, yeah.
Yeah.
So I would just say that if they mirrored all of the conditions and language from the Nemasket,
I think it had to be a little different because it was a pond and not
Yeah,
a river.
you're right, but as far as
basically-
the disposal points and the
Right.
process,
Yep,
my only concern when you said they're gonna get their own machine would be that it's not freely just driven around the pond because of the red-bellied cooter.
oh yeah, no, I'm sure they'd have to get a maintenance, probably in the next couple of years as they're doing it, if it works, that they're gonna have to do, like, get a 5-year permit with a maintenance plan, so it'll all be laid
Well,
out.
if you read through this.
There's no willy-nilly here.
There's a professional,
Right.
biologist.
Biologist,
That's
yeah.
gonna be
Yeah.
on site
Yep.
the whole time they're
To
doing it.
pick the turtles, same
Just
thing on
to
the
do
river.
that, to
They did the
identify.
same thing in the river, yep.
Right, so,
Right, but I'm just saying, in the future, if they bought their own weed removal machine,
Right.
we just wanna make sure that the biologist and the time constraints are still
right.
conditions of them using that machine.
Well, honestly,
Natural
if the
Heritage
only
is way
time you
ahead of
can
you
do
on
it
that,
is the first 2
Right.
weeks of August, it's
Right.
gonna be every year.
yeah.
It doesn't make sense to buy one, you should just rent one,
Yeah.
really.
And Natural Heritage probably has a lot more oversight on all of this than,
I would hope.
yeah.
They have to
Well, obviously, I think
schedule
we'd
it.
all be in support of it.
Can't
It's
get it
it's good for the
available when they
environment.
need it, I mean,
They know they need it the first 2 weeks of August
Yeah.
every year,
Yeah.
just book it,
Yeah.
you know?
That's
Anyway,
fine.
so can we have, I'll make a motion that we waive the fee of $75.
Second.
Motion and second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And anybody has any questions for the next meeting, please let me know so we can take care of it prior, because we'll have to write the order of conditions
Right away.
right away.
And this is firm, they've already put the ad in the paper for next.
Yes,
all right.
yep. Yeah. So
Okay.
another thing.
That ad hasn't run yet though, has it? 'Cause I-
Yeah, well, they had, let's see now, for free, they had to run it for Freetown too, because it's going to Freetown Concom the day before ours. They meet Monday, and
What
we'll
paper
meet
was it in?
Tuesday. And I'm gonna find some orders of conditions from some other ponds that have done it, because I don't think we've ever written an order of conditions for
We
something
did
like
for
this
the
before, Bob.
river though.
But that's something that's got to flow.
Right.
And this is kind of, these are dead pockets where they're working.
Yeah.
They don't have flow.
And I can't remember the name of the pond right off, but there's been a couple other ponds in Massachusetts that have got permission to do the weed harvester, so I'll see what, if we don't have to reinvent the wheel, that would be good.
Yep. All right, look forward to that.
Good. All right, next, Beech Tree Drive. Also known for Huckleberry Knoll Homeowners Association. This is actually a multifaceted project that kind of was growing and growing. So we've got a number of people here tonight. We talked about a little bit about it last time. So let's see what we have. Any questions?
What is it?
Answer?
Yeah, who,
Did everybody see
Is
the letter
anybody here to
that
speak
Bob?
on behalf of it?
Did anybody see the letter Bob wrote?
No.
No.
That should have been in your packet.
It was very,
Right, it was addressed to Mr. Nashalati, as we had discussed in our last meeting.
Yeah, that was the
Requesting-
enforcement order.
Right.
Well, potential enforcement order.
yeah, he
Correct.
did. It was a very good
Just a letter.
It was a good letter.
Instead, we sent a letter itemizing the things that we thought were a problem. I sent him the letter, and he called and actually has so far complied with most of the requests that we made, so I was satisfied with that. But since then, some other members of the association have approached me and saying there was some other issues that they wanted to discuss. There was some excavation, there's some gravel that's been brought in. There's still a couple of trucks. Parking is an issue. And I guess all of you folks are here for Huckabee, or
Then I'll go after them.
Beach Tree. So who wants to go first?
Want me to go up here?
Yes,
Yes,
good.
please.
How you doing?
Good, how you doing?
Good.
Not bad, John Lenz. Is that thing reaching me over here?
There's got one right there.
Yeah, just pull it.
Pull it over there.
So I'm the president of the association, been in the pond for 6 years. Was part of this committee process a ways back, but, so yeah, there was concerns about Mike Nashawati and Laura Nashawati too as well, just with our trucks and things on the side of the road. We did have an association meeting, a yearly annual association meeting on Sunday. Talks amongst ourselves and address the issues between the community members and the other association members. We believe Mike and Laura are going to be working to do what they need to do to comply to any rules and regulations. And if they feel like there's things that they need to do to ask for permits or whatever they need to change any way that they leverage their own land, they can do so appropriately with this committee. So that's how we stood for it.
I spoke with him this afternoon and pretty much mirrored what you just, mirrored what you just said. So that was reassuring that that's his attitude. And like I said earlier, most of the things we asked him to do have been taken care of. It's too bad he couldn't make it, but it's my understanding he's got a new job and he's not available.
Yeah, but you know, as the president, I felt I needed to address it and be here, and just wanted to make sure that you knew that we did have that discussion and brought it to their family. And right now we feel like we're in a good spot. So things change, you know, we'll let you know. But if Mike needs to decide to do something differently with his property, or needs to make any changes or whatever he wants to do, then he has to take that up with you, and that's outside of us.
Hey, I don't want to just pick on Mike either, because he's
great.
He's not here.
I know.
But there are some other areas that we're concerned with.
What's that?
There's an area where there's been some excavation and some gravel brought in to fill that hole. It's right on the elbow between Hickory Lane and Beach Street. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, it's all Beach Tree.
Yeah.
Wasn't the association, so the association didn't have anything to do with it. We didn't pay for anything to be done around that area, but that was a former area that a lot of the trucks that were going down the street, unfortunately, because of how narrow the street is, would go into the marsh area where water runs down that street.
That was the turnaround area?
No, it's further down.
Oh, okay.
It's as you get to the water, the first houses in the water, you know, the street's only 20 feet wide.
If even,
It's very
yeah.
tough, and it's a big elbow. So if you have like a dump truck or whatever, just picking up the trash, or just two cars, one car's in the swampy area of the street. They're off the tar. And there was a pipe there that eventually got crushed with stone. So it was the intention of one of the homeowners to fix it on their own, and that's what they did.
I've seen some of the big garbage trucks from my driveway stop backing up the road. They back the entire distance because they know trying to get turned around down there is so hard.
Yeah, but that's outside the association. We
Right.
didn't do anything. We didn't pay for it. It's a separate conversation.
As a separate kind of group, or is that, who has jurisdiction? If
It's
you have
nobody.
jurisdiction, you know.
It's part of, you know, somebody's property that they go to get on their own land and on the side of the road. So
Correct me if I'm wrong, aren't there two homeowners associations?
there is. It's Huckleberry Knolls Association, and then there's Huckleberry Shores. Huckleberry Shores is the primary association for Beech Tree, and now Robbins Lane that goes down to Mark Twain. And then there's Huckleberry Knolls, I think was established around 2007. I could be wrong. Somehow I'm losing years on that. But there's Huckleberry Knolls, and there's 8 homes that are associated to Huckleberry Knolls that have a beach access right to Beech Tree, which is now extremely overgrown, wet, and very tree heavy driven.
So John, our agenda says Huckleberry Knoll Homeowners Association. That's not really,
It's not me.
that's not you guys. That should
That's
be changed.
me.
Oh, that's you?
That's
Okay.
the other part of the
Okay,
story.
you're the other part of the story.
Sure.
So
Okay, all
he's
right.
part of their association, which
Gotcha.
is
Gotcha.
owned by Fulkin and Zolkin.
Zola.
Zola
Zola
and
And they
Yeah.
were
The original
at some
builders.
point,
Yeah,
chapter 11, and went out of business.
yep, yep.
They're
Folkman and Zola, that was it.
Folkman and Zola, so they're
yeah.
no longer around, but I did do a quick Google search on them. I found that they have a new business similar to that name that they had before. They haven't paid their taxes since 2015. So they owe quite a bit of money to the town. And nobody's actually taking care of their property. So I think you got a couple issues here, you know, nobody's paying the taxes since 2015, it's much in the years. So is the town planning on taking ownership of that land at some point? And or what is the right access to that land from, you know, based upon what the conservation is right now, consists of how wooded and wet that land is.
What's the address of that?
2 Beech Tree.
Yes, it's the first house.
It's between 1 Beech Tree and 4, no,
Between 4 Beech Tree and
You're 4.
the house that's not on Beech Tree, which is Greg.
is he on Mark Twain?
Yeah, so.
Okay,
It's either
that's-
Mark Twain or.
Yeah. So there's a little cottage there on the corner. There's a little cottage that's all gravel and then very wooded area, and then 4 Beech Tree.
Mhm. Okay.
The committee's been down there before.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Made-
Many times,
Made a
actually.
decision to put a cease and desist on cutting of that land. It was a wetland issue. And then they were
Yep.
supposed to get proper permitting and all that. A letter
Remember.
went out and nothing's been done. That, Bob, is what I was talking about you on Friday. When I called you on
Oh,
Friday.
yeah.
Yeah, so the clearing of the land, there has to be some type of,
Could you gotta either step up to the mic and identify yourself, or?
Am I
And
excused?
I think this gentleman would like to
Yeah,
also
yeah,
speak
yeah.
on his behalf.
For now.
Bob,
you go get on you?
can we finish Mashawati before he goes away? I mean, we're way off.
Well, it's, are you planning
Yeah,
on
we're
leaving?
way off the
Are you
subject here.
I'll stay here.
Yeah, if you don't mind, there might be some questions that come up that you can
Right.
help us with.
I haven't got to ask my question about Nashawati yet.
Okay. Now,
Well,
let's
what's
get
gone and what's still there.
let's get all the information first, then we can discuss. Now, for the record, would you identify yourself?
Keith Reisfelder, I'm at 4 Beech Tree
Okay.
Drive. And, you know, as you guys came down and witnessed, you know, that water that's coming down there and, you know, that's a travel way. The concern back in the day, where's that water gonna go if people start messing with that land? So what's the proper, you know, what's the intent of that? What's the proper way to clear that if they're gonna clear it? What's considered a path? What side, you can't move rocks, can't move trees, like, what is the plan? That's what's supposed to come from 2019.
Right.
It never came.
Right, Bob?
Go ahead, Nancy.
I think the same thing we always say is that we get presented the plan. We don't
Right.
tell you
We
how
don't
to
tell
do
you.
it.
Yeah.
You tell us how you want to do it.
I don't
and
want
then
anything done with it, because I'm
Right.
afraid of that water, so whoever's gonna do the clearing.
Has
which
to come
will
to
probably
us and-
state his case.
Has to come to us and
Right,
tell
and
us
have
and
everything
do a filing of
approved
how
and-
they want to do it. It probably has to be an engineered plan, especially if it's that close to the water and that
Correct.
wet. And if there's any filling, they'll have to replicate.
Right, just from putting artificial grass in my turf, I had to go to wetland committee, I had to go through thousands of dollars and do the process
Yeah,
correct.
you use
to
that
get it
grid
done.
system, if I remember, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Right. Oh,
So-
I remember.
Right, so the fact that, you know, I was told that they were allowed to clear a car width path to
Well,
go down there, that's
No,
what I
no,
was saying.
Let me clarify that. Someone took what I said out of
Out of
context. That person was looking for an estimate, how wide, how big a space? And I said, you know, the width of a car, meaning just how, that big. Not that a car would have to necessarily go through it, okay?
Right, no, yeah,
That's not what I meant.
regardless, there's gotta be some type of engineering plan, permission
Absolutely.
from wetlands, you know,
Are
I'm
there
a
any
taxpayer.
endangered species, any clams in the water?
I'm a
There's a lot of
taxpayer, I
stuff.
pay for my taxes
Right.
on my property. Again, like John said, there's been no taxes paid on this in 2015, but now they wanna go do whatever they need to do, or whatever they think they
Wonder why
wanna
the
do.
town hasn't stepped up with, you know, trying to.
It's
claim the
ambiguous.
property.
We actually went to the assessor's office, and it was ambiguous as to
who the actual owners
Yeah,
was?
what the
Right,
lot
so
is.
until they figure that out, I would figure.
It's always kind of been like that.
Yeah,
Well, I can go to the town and ask those questions. I mean, it's pretty clear. It's Huckleberry Knolls Association, 2 Beach Streets, 4,500 square feet. That gets taxed like everybody else. They haven't paid taxes since that period of time. So at some point, the town will have
Take
to
action,
look
yeah.
at it and say, what's the collection process for it? For a company that clearly was bankrupt at one point in time, that is not gonna, in my mind, pay any taxes in the future if they haven't paid for the last 7+ years.
And that would kind of put a nix. Haven't we changed that? It used to be it didn't interfere, if you didn't pay your taxes, it didn't interfere with getting a permit, but I think now it does.
I think now it
I
does,
think
you're
it-
right, yeah.
I think they've changed that, so you can't get any permitting if you haven't paid your taxes.
right. And, 2019, when I brought this to it, Tom, no ill will against you, but, he's down there with chainsaws, and I had pictures, videos.
chainsaw.
Really, I had a picture and a video sent to they have it from 2019. With his tools and all this, cutting everything out and leaving it there. And so the last thing I want is this happening again. I would do it the right way. If you, pay the fees, pay your taxes,
Do the filing.
do the filing, and then, again, notify the abutting neighbors like I had to when I put in my artificial grass.
that's part of
Just
the
do
process.
it the right way, and then we can all discuss it, and instead of just going in there and hacking and slashing.
I don't remember, did you do a notice of intent last time or just an RDA
Which, for what?
for your property?
When you did your grass area?
No, you guys just signed, I had to put the barrier around there,
Yeah.
and yeah, I did everything the way it was supposed to be done.
I think it was just an RDA then.
Do you remember what you filed? Was it a notice of intent or was it a?
No,
Did you have a
it didn't,
request for
get that far for
No.
I
that,
don't
yeah.
think
It's
so.
an
Because
RDA.
it really,
Neighbors
there
were
wasn't, I
notified.
wasn't approaching that.
You
land.
filed with us, not the state,
Correct,
Okay.
correct,
which that would be a RDA or
Right.
okay.
request for determination of applicability,
And-
which if we determined there was impact, we would have sent you to the state to get a notice of intent.
Right, yep.
So where we stand now is if you wanted to do some kind of limited access, some cutting, for some pruning, we would probably let that go. If it was more detailed, cutting of trees, bringing in fill, whatever, then we would look at either doing an RDA, request for determination of applicability, or notice of intent. So maybe what we need to do now is hear from you folks and what it is you're planning and how that fits into what the master plan's gonna be here. Is that, or did you have your?
Do you have any more questions for me on the
Yeah, I
Huckleberry
do.
Shores?
Yeah, about the Nashawati, what's been taken away and what's left? Is the gravel still there?
Gravel is still there.
All right.
Well, a portion
That
of it.
was my worry, that
they-
it's just gonna go
They were
into,
working on, Joe was working on
Yeah.
clearing it
And it's a
away.
very small amount.
but the grass is gone? The jet skis are gone?
Yeah,
Yeah, all the
There was a
motor
lot of
equipment-
garden
All the
refuge.
motor
The
equipment. yeah.
gas tank.
Yeah, it's all gone.
The snowplow?
Snowplow's gone.
Okay.
Well,
So
it's-
what about all the grass and lawn clippings and that huge pile that was in the wetland, Bob?
I don't know about that. I didn't check
there's
that.
still a pickup truck with the plow on it though. Where's, it's parked?
In their property.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think rather than rely on these folks,
Yeah, we should.
we just have you, and I'm not saying any disinformation, I think it's unprofessional on our part
Yeah.
to do that. We have Bob as our agent, you're our eyes and ears. Could you, if you had time in the coming week, make us another site visit just to check on
Well, I was there
progress?
this morning.
So
So there.
you've
is
got a
still
good handle on what's
Yeah.
happened and you saw some progress.
Yeah, I'm satisfied with the majority of what's been done.
And there's still a little bit more work to happen.
Mhm.
So, all right, so maybe in another week or so, we'll,
That'd be great.
All
at
right,
our next meeting, get an update?
Bob,
Good.
what
You're
is
burning.
left to be done?
You're
I'm
burning.
not
Go ahead,
getting-
ask your question. We're not holding.
What is left to be done?
There was a little bit of the gravel left on the side of the road, not
Okay.
not on the road itself.
Okay,
There was the question of the pickup truck with the plow on it. Mike had said he didn't think he had a place to put it, or that he might have to leave it there for a period of time. and he was gonna get back to me where else it might go. What else? The gasoline, that's not an issue anymore. There weren't any cans visible. I think that's it.
Yeah, I mean, from my view, we had the discussion, he said he was gonna move his stuff out. He has. And he said if he wanted to make any changes to his own property, he would want to file it with you and make that determination and decision. So that's where I'm at, but, you know, I think we're fine for now, but want to make sure it, you know, continues to move forward.
All right. All right. Oh, is that it? Is
Yeah.
that good? All right.
Yeah.
So would you like to have your say?
Yeah, absolutely. Am I able to connect my computer to the TV? I have some visual evidence that would be of benefit.
Good question.
I
Brad Jose.
Knock on the door, ask Jose.
Probably not.
I don't see any.
Do you have an HDMI cable?
Yeah,
It will take a few minutes to do.
okay.
And I'm not sure it will work.
Well, yeah, but.
This is the police department's.
Yeah. Let's see.
Should be obvious where.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see you hit the HDMI for what kind of work.
The red light went to a flashing blue light. and
Oh,
now we got
something's
stuck
coming
the
on.
screen. Yay!
Signs of life.
There are multiple HDMI
Okay, yeah,
connections. See if you can tell me what number it is.
I think it's, let's try this one, it could be the first one.
We need to know this before meetings.
Do you agree? Wasn't part of the plan.
You guys see it?
Yeah.
Who's got the popcorn?
There should be a source on that remote.
You know
I haven't seen the
what? I
vision.
need a different cable, it has an HDMI on one end and then a different port on the other end. So we're not
Mr.
gonna
Chair?
do it.
Well, they're attempting to do that. Would you mind if we reviewed the minutes?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Oh, great.
Joe?
Yeah, I didn't see anything.
Oh, you didn't see any? Okay. Well, he's the one who really fine-tools the minutes.
The minute corrector.
Yeah, I gotta say, I didn't too much. I did too much talking. I didn't even want to read it.
Well, there's a lot to read.
That's a good meeting.
I glanced through them. I thought they looked representative of what we did, and you noticed no corrections, Joe?
Nope.
So I would make a motion to approve the Conservation Commission meeting minutes for May 3rd, 2022 at 7 p.m.
Second.
Have a motion and a second, sir?
Pardon me?
I was just saying, I had a second as
Oh,
well.
okay. So all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Just as a little advance notice, we were getting busy, much more so than we were last year. I don't know what's driving it, but we're getting a lot of requests for tree cutting, for above-ground pools, well, both kinds of pools, and docks especially. So you can anticipate, well, we'd like to anticipate a lot of work in the coming months.
And I've spoken to two people in the past month who have asked me about basically vista pruning.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't know the term, but I told them that's what they wanted to do. So we may be getting, that'll be an RDA, right?
Well, sometimes they're fairly simple. Or
Yeah.
You don't need an RDA for vista pruning. That's an acceptable.
It depends how far down they're going.
Sometimes vista pruning gets expanded to, Coliseum.
Who approves docks?
DEP,
DP.
So
chapter 91.
Okay,
But
so we don't have anything to take for it?
Yeah, it comes to
usually they
us.
refer it to us,
First, right?
and
Right.
depending on the complexity, we might do a simple RDA, or we might even do an NOI. And we've got about 6 of them ongoing right now in town.
So where can I, since I'm a newbie, where can I see what the requirements are for the dock?
Chapter 91, dock here?
Yeah, online.
DEP
Mass law?
website.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
It's Department of Environmental Protection.
Okay,
If you just go mass.gov,
yeah. Yeah, I've
you
been
can
in
get to
there.
it from there.
It gets complicated, but I've been in there.
John's been through it, he can help you.
I can email you some information, Fred.
I was going crazy with us, trying to look something up on Vision the other week. And it seemed not to exist. But then it turned out that the old Vision was not being supported, so now we have the new Vision and
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's a little differently, and, oh, man.
Got the projector working here. Jose.
Set it
Yeah, it's
up.
on the wall.
It just goes on automatically.
A few years ago, we had homeowners association come before us about adding sand to their beach.
Switch back there somewhere.
Vaguely. That was on the Freetown line, that's on the Freetown line. We wanted to put a dock there.
Yeah,
That
it
same
was
beach?
beach nourishment and a dock, I believe. Did we require them to file? For the dock they would have, but for beach nourishment, did we have them do anything? Did they even end up doing it?
I don't remember.
I don't know either.
No.
Hey, you?
But I remember it
Yeah, we're
was
showing
going
this
to be a
computer
civil
screen.
matter about the dock.
That was right,
because
because
it was a particular person.
he didn't own the land, but he owned the dock, he was
Yeah.
bringing his boats in, yeah.
Beach nourishment, that's something we really need to, that's like Bill almost, I mean,
Well, in a new
it's not drinking
business.
water though.
No.
Well,
No,
it
it's
is,
not.
really.
No, it's not, but,
It's
you know,
classified as that.
depending on, you know, what you're putting down.
5,000
If you have nitrogen and phosphorus in that stuff, you're just gonna accelerate
right,
everything
right.
in the pond.
They drive so many different
So,
vehicles now.
That's a new business we might wanna discuss,
You kept the old one.
but I couldn't remember if we had them.
Showing
my folders.
I don't think so, I think we
That
ended up
wasn't what
telling
was
them
on
it was
my
a civil
screen.
matter about the dock.
Then I have
Because
a
it was
third-
personal.
Right.
One member of the association wanted to take it over.
But remember we talked about them having to, I thought we somewhere landed between like them having to file because we wanted to see civil material coming in, and not just anything.
I really seriously thought not anything in there without permission.
Right.
Because everybody was really watching and aware and
So,
where's the sand come from? It's almost like it's gotta be like certified sand, like they do
yeah,
for
you
septic
agree.
systems.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, there'd have to be.
People to help too.
Can you get rid of that box?
Could be, yeah. And because the concern is, you know, let's say you get sand donated, someone might just be trying to get rid of their stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Oh, yeah, okay.
I got some new business we might want to discuss, but
It's just, it's easier for the record.
we'll see,
No,
we'll see
sure.
what happens.
Minutes of meetings if we can hear.
I'll use my Irish whistler.
There you go.
Okay.
Thank you, Jose.
So without it,
There'll be a little something extra in your paycheck this week.
Here you go, is that good?
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah.
Entertaining.
So far, it's on the back of box.
All right. So now for the entertainment. I'm Tom Loftus, and I live at 13 Robbins Lane. I don't know if anybody here has seen the movie 12 Angry Men.
Yeah.
That I think as you've had a chance to hear one side of the story, and I think this is going to be an opportunity to hear just a different view of the beach area. When I first came to live in Lakeville and we bought the property there, we had a meeting with the previous owner that lives on the left-hand side, Steve, and he wanted to switch the property that's now built on. And we'd swap the beach because you wanted to have contiguous land there. You didn't want to have people, going to the beach and making noise and that kind of thing. He offered the switch for $35,000. We turned that down. So we had the beach area.
without saying too much, he was rather caustic to other neighbors who tried to cut down at the beach area and basically chased them away. I didn't give up that easily. He called the police on me twice, came over with a dog to try to intimidate me. Didn't work. After all these meetings, he finally had his wife talk to me. Lovely woman. And I even tried to work out, how I was going to cut some of the brush there. So there's been, up until that point, there's been a history of trying to prevent usage through intimidation. Now we go fast forward. I had done some cutting and I did leave stuff down there. That's where the cease and desist order came. I guess the Nashuaries had some brush and they were told to get rid of it. And somebody said, well, why don't you do that at the beach? So that's how that happened. I got the cease and desist letter and I removed all the brush. And then the COVID came and I didn't do any cutting then. So there's this willy-nilly cutting with chainsaws and things like that. I used a bow saw. I did have an electric pole saw to do that. And as you'll see what the beach area looked like beforehand. Now, in the continuation of us trying to prevent usage, somehow through this committee it was considered wetland. I don't know how that was done. I wasn't at the meeting. We weren't invited to the meeting. So that was seen as another tool to prevent us from using that area, because then we needed to have some sort of permit. So this has been a lot of impediments to us using the area. I'm going to go over to the podium now and I'm going to show you some pictures. I'll do it as an MP4 and then I can show it as a PDF if you want to look at pictures at a time. But this is a minute and 52 seconds. So each frame is about, this is what it looked like back in July. This is also in June, so you can see there's no gravel that was dumped there. You do see a little bit of a channel there. That's actually supposed to be part of the street. And again, this is beforehand. This is June, just about a month or so ago. And you can see again that area there, there's that bend. And this is what it looked like, beforehand when I did do some of the cutting. And you see it's dry. And a nice area to be able to get down there. And that's just again how it looked like before. Fortunately, I'm on call for a clinical program, but I'll get that after this presentation. Now you can see how it looks like afterwards with that gravel that's dumped there. More gravel. You see there's a berm that's put up there to help channel the water. Then you get a better view of the berm that was there. That wasn't there, you see in the other pictures. And as it continues down, more of that gravel is put, you can see how it goes towards the left-hand side, and it's working its way towards our beach. This is on the beach property. People wonder about us cutting things down. I think you should be looking at why are people dumping gravel in that area. There's also a berm on that above there. I show the PDF pictures, the same ones. I can point them out. Gravel again on our property, rocks,
Could you
dirt.
hold for a second?
Yeah.
This is one of the things that concerned me was the excavated material. It's not just sand and gravel. There's large stones, there's bricks, there's concrete, there's everything that's been
I'm going to
excavated.
pull it up right now so you can see it. So this is where it was. Again, somebody put some sort of channel there. Channel coming down. I will go to what you're talking about momentarily. Again, this is in June, no gravel there. Now this is what it looked like back in 18, September 27th, 18. And this is before, again, the violation of dumping refuse in our land. Again, look at this. You can drive a car through here. It's nice and dry. But you wonder why it gets wet when you have some channel with gravel, dirt put up here for a berm, coming down, channel down. Get a close look at that, and you wonder why there's water there.
It's always been there.
It's always.
I get to show you a picture where it didn't.
That was
Here it
original.
is. channel down.
Channel.
There's
That
dirt.
was the original channel.
That's not,
I know the
that,
homeowner that clears that out so that the water can flow, because you get the pipe coming out.
yeah, right into our
Clears the
beach.
land, but that has nothing to do with.
That's just a normal waterway from the top of the hill where you live coming down.
That's, all that came in July, all this gravel. Can't dispute that.
Yeah, no, I'm not disputing that,
But-
but that channel has been dug out
They're out of water.
by
Yeah,
somebody else.
so again, back
You're not
here.
getting to the picture that Bob was talking
This is,
about.
I think, the one, with this one, Bob? or the
Next one.
This one,
Yeah,
you can see the excavated material right there. And what you're not seeing, excuse me, friend, is what is over there.
I think it's one more up that you were looking at. That one's got the water in it. That one, there you go.
The gravel just stops,
Right there.
Yeah,
okay?
yeah,
And
that's it, Bob.
beyond that is wetland. It's less than 100
this is
feet
what's
from-
after it. There's rocks there that somebody else put in there, they continue the channel.
Yeah, I don't know where those came from, but they certainly don't belong.
None of the lines.
But the water that we're talking about is running off this area right here and then just right into the wetland. There's nothing stopping it. That's our concern.
So if it's wetland, you got all this water running down, being channeled into the beach
It's
area.
unquestionably jurisdictional. There's wetlands on both sides.
So there's a problem of somebody
So who
making
did this?
alterations to our property without permission, certainly didn't go before this board, yet there's questions about whether we can cut down branches or not. Really, this is outrageous.
All right, let's take some questions. John?
Within 100 feet of the wetland, you can't do anything without applying for a permit there.
Right.
At least coming and asking and seeing what you want to do. So who dumped all this gravel?
I don't know, I'd like to,
Nobody knows?
you guys know? You guys live down there, you see anything? It's right next door to you.
I know it is, and I came home and that was there, but I'll tell you right now, if you took that gravel out, like the pictures that she showed before.
Yeah.
That's been the waterway the whole time, that's not anything new.
That's been a
That's where the
2-foot
water is.
trench that trucks and everything go down the street because of trying to get past, and water comes through that, and it's all mud. And in the springtime,
Well,
it flows down that street all the way down to the beach. It has nothing to do with that little gravel area, nothing. That is just a natural waterway that there's pipes underneath one beach tree. It's the little ranch right before this that has a clay pipe underneath his driveway that's half crushed. That's water go through his own driveway. Anybody can come down and take a look at it.
who put that pipe
But it's been
in?
there for years, years.
It just is a matter of hydrostatic pressure from the hill. Drives it all out. Some of that water's coming from, probably 100 feet deep. The weight of all the soil on top of it is pushing it out the bottom.
So Tom
We
showed
had
me
the
these
same-
nice dry pictures, but when you guys were there, and you guys seen, that was a stream of water.
Stream of water.
Oh, after a
Not
rainstorm.
only that, but Tom, did you show them your boots when you were taking all the mush out? You were knee deep in mud.
Oh, it was muddy then, though.
Knee deep in mud, so
Not knee
you can
deep,
show
but
a
it was
picture
muddy.
in July all you want. It's gonna be pretty dry in July.
Well, you can't paint the picture, it's always wet.
All this should be through the chairman, please.
Yes, Mark, go ahead.
I feel like at this point, we need to, we see work's been done. You're the owner of the property.
One of them.
It's the
Association,
I got the floor, I'm talking.
One at a time.
So, I think this gentleman's looking to cut trees. The wetlands are an issue, they are there. If you're not comfortable with determining that, I think somebody needs to get an engineer involved to at least delineate what's what before anybody does anything else.
All we're trying to do is just clear out the path that,
We understand what you're trying to
Yeah.
do, but we need to make sure that it's happening in the right location.
Right, we need to know limits.
So is this,
Whether it be a wetland scientist or somebody to actually come out and determine this is the line.
Right.
Unless our agent feels comfortable doing that, and I'm not looking to put that on you, Bob, but if you feel comfortable with saying that's wet and that's not, I guess I feel like a site visit and a determination of what moving forward is desired to be done there.
The property isn't that wide, if that helps you. It's probably less than the width of this room.
No, but even if all you're doing is clearing a path that was already there, it's still, that's Vista Brook, right? So that still needs to come before this board. And there are safeguards you're supposed to take to prevent, and, I mean, this is, somebody's dumping on your land.
Yeah, and I want to know what can be done about that, because that's
Well,
making it worse for us.
is this a common piece of land that the association owns, or is it on your property?
It's the association owns it, and we didn't do that. And I guess you have to look at who benefits from that.
Well, no, you have to identify who did it. But that's neither here nor there.
But what recourse do we have for this illegal dumping?
But if you're
and illegal
doing-
modification to a wetland?
If you're doing any work within 100 feet of a wetland, it has to come before this board.
It's not as though this is something that can't be fixed. In some ways, what you see there is a start. They just didn't finish it, and it's not engineered properly. But I think with the right amount of fill, the right amount of work.
I'm sorry, Bob, but we didn't ask for this. And I don't think we should be in a position to help build some illegal dumping.
I'm looking for a way to.
It sounds like there's a drainage problem
Mhm.
that affects both associations, is that correct?
Since the houses were built on the Mark Twain side, we have absolutely more water than we want to deal with on a day-to-day
Oh, yeah.
basis.
Yeah,
The
we've seen
Huckleberry
that.
Shores Beach that I'm on, you can't even walk through that 8 months out of the year. It's just so wet, you go down 6 inches because the water,
So
it's very, very bad.
Have you sought engineering to figure out if there's a solution to this?
Well, again, Huckleberry Shores Association is not responsible for the taxes or anything within Huckleberry
It's coming
Knolls.
down to civil.
So I don't have that jurisdiction, nor could I
Right, Joe?
have any legal right to make any of that. All I can do with my own engineering efforts are on Huckleberry Shores Beach, which is on the far end of the water, right? And we have yet to do that because we know that is significant costs associated to it. And we don't have the funds. And we don't collect a lot of money from the homeowners on the street, so, I mean, we have to worry about paying for plows and stuff like that versus trying to fix the beach.
Now, as you mentioned that association, we don't have attendance rights to those meetings. The meeting that you mentioned, we're not invited to that.
It's true, that's in the deeds. You have your own association.
So why are you paying money to you? I'm
You
just
pay,
curious.
Tom, I'm just,
This conversation can't be happening.
Yeah, this isn't
Okay.
appropriate in front of our board.
Okay,
This sounds like it's a civil issue that you guys need to take up.
you're trying to figure out a way to make this work.
We're gonna
I appreciate
we're
that.
gonna have to determine if there's been a violation.
So we should go do a site visit.
I think that's a good idea. If there's any way we can undo damage that's been done, fine, we should accept that.
I have to
Beyond
be,
that-
and who would be responsible for undoing that damage?
Right.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
would be good, I think, for the entire board to review it and get some input. Because obviously there's no simple solution to this. And it may be that it winds up being a civil matter. That'll be out of our hands. We'll do what we can to get the work done, but you see what's happening right now. We can't get anywhere. if it's too
We're
close.
really not court, and I understand and appreciate all of you guys' standpoints, but we can't really settle a legal matter. We're just gonna address the wetland stuff. So I think, to the chair's point, we'll schedule a site visit and maybe put this on the agenda at the next meeting, Mr. Chair, for more discussion.
Sooner the better.
One of the things we would really like, though, is to have access to the beach without having roadblocks put in or people modifying the property. As simple as that.
you're not gonna
That's
get anybody
reasonable.
to be contentious or to be,
It already has been.
not anymore. I can't tell you from what happened before, but since I'm there and I'm the president, there's no major people that are trying to do
You need
anything.
a gavel, Bob.
And that's, again, outside of that, so we can talk offline.
Well, we need the permission to be able
We're
to.
gonna just
do that.
continue this discussion to our next meeting. We'll make a site visit,
meantime.
Bob, do you have contact information for these folks so you can let them know when we're coming?
I'll have to give you mine.
And we'll have access?
You might need to have some of the thorn bushes cut away for you to get in there. I'd be willing to do that. but-
We're more than
Yeah.
capable of
Okay, all
walking
right.
around thorn
Yeah.
bushes.
Yeah.
Don't worry about that.
Okay.
And we have Josh go first.
There you go.
All right, so I'll make a motion that we just, continue the discussion till our next meeting
Which is December.
on either Huckleberry Knolls Homeowners Association or Huckleberry Shores Homeowners Association, so you can both come if you
How
want.
Beach Tree Drive.
Okay,
Is a motion even necessary? It's really just discussion tonight. It's not a real
Really,
hearing.
but
Yeah.
just-
but it was on our agenda,
For
so we
formality,
need
so
to.
I second Nancy's motion.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So you let me know.
I'll let you know with the
All right.
timing and
Can I give you my contact information?
information.
Well, we just continued it to the 26th at 7 PM,
Correct.
Would you like me to put it on?
so you know.
Okay, pad in mine. Just on the way down.
What's the date?
26th?
Yes, 26th.
It's a Tuesday.
We meet on the second and fourth Tuesdays.
I'll put my home number on here, my cell phone number.
Any other, good information, new information, or new business tonight, Mr. Chair?
Did we have to make
Beyond?
sort of a motion about the
Oh, I
site
think
visit?
Josh has something.
No.
Did you say, Fred?
Did we have to make some sort of a motion or vote on a site visit or anything?
No, no.
Okay.
No. I think, you wanna try and just schedule a time and just send an email to the board members and
Whoever can make it
we're all available.
I will send you a notice.
Yeah, I'd like
I
to-
don't think everybody needs to go,
I'd like to go.
but.
Oh, you mean for
if-
the meeting, for a site visit?
Yeah.
Site visit.
I can't tell you off the top of my head right now because my schedule's really full.
You can just shoot
I'll-
us,
I'll let you know.
just shoot us an email.
Yeah, something that's, all right.
I do have new business.
You do, okay.
I do.
You folks have any questions? You all set? You understand what's going on?
Yeah, well, you'll notify us when the site visit is and
Okay,
along with that.
very good. Okay,
Thank you. Thanks for your help.
Thanks for coming in tonight.
thank you. Okay.
Thanks for making that happen, Jose.
There'll be a little something extra in your check. What's your,
So first I want to start off by saying the Lakeville Parks Department does a great job with all their facilities, but I think we need to address the amount of sand that was brought to Clear Pond. Whether it's unintentional or not, it does end up into the pond, and it's essentially filling the pond.
back up, what
Is
happened?
it Clear Pond?
Clear Pond, sorry, yeah, Clear Pond Park on Clear Pond Road.
They brought some sand in for the beach.
Quite a bit of sand, yeah.
noticed that.
And
This recently?
this year, I know, I would say within the last 10 years, they've probably brought in sand 6 summers.
Really?
Good.
I never go there, would not know that.
It's all over Facebook. In a good way, it's all over Facebook because they're happy to have sand.
Yeah.
I know.
Thank you for listening.
Good night.
Prior to this year, what they had been bringing in, I would be hesitant to classify as sand. It was probably more dirt than anything. This year, they got someone to donate, good quality sand, but it does eventually run off into the pond, which is
From rain action or?
from rain, yeah.
No, good.
And you know it was good quality sand? How do you know?
I went down there today and looked at it. Well, so I know it's good quality as far as looking at it, but as far as where it came from, I know they got it donated from some company. I reached out to one of the park commissioners and Douglas Berry, who's running Clear Pond, to get more information. I haven't heard back from either. But
Now, is that something that there should be a program of hauling it back on an annual basis to restore the beach? I mean,
it could be, but I think, it needs to be conditioned in a way that it's appropriate. Because if you're gonna start pulling it back, you can't have just any old equipment go in there and do it. And I know the highway department was nice enough to go out and spread all the sand that was dumped, but you know, God forbid they had a hydraulic leak on one of their pieces of equipment, you know, we had no way of knowing that it was even happening.
Or where the sand came, I guess
Right.
that's my concern, if it was donated from like a regular company.
Old septic system.
Right,
Yeah.
you know, the sand comes back
You
and
got kids playing on that.
it's full of lead, you know, that's a problem. Or even if it's full of nitrogen and phosphorus, it's gonna accelerate any growth of that
Growth
pond.
in the
Right,
pond.
and it's not a
So-
small amount.
Arsenic is the big thing these days. It's showing up everywhere.
Right,
Arsenic, yeah.
Yeah.
so, figured I'd bring it in front of the board, there is evidence that they brought it.
Do we know that it was something the Parks Department actually planned, or is it
It,
something that,
Just
the
happened.
donations were acquired through the Parks Department. One of the park commissioners sought, you know, the donation of the sand from, I do not know the company that donated the sand, but so it could be reputable sand from a clean place, but, you know, without any plan coming before us, we don't know that.
Sand with the pedigree.
it's something that we should just send a letter to the Parks Department, just to kind of nicely recommend that they don't put any more sand on the beach until they have a discussion with us and
Let me talk to Nate first.
I have to imagine too that for beach sand, it'd be like septic sand, certain sieve size material.
I knew you were gonna go to the sieve.
Right.
Well, it makes a difference. Dirt
does.
isn't dirt.
And is the
No.
Board of Health, I mean, not just us, but is the
Board
Board
of-
of Health
Board of Health.
part of
Is
that
Who
too?
runs Clear Pond?
Well, they test the water.
Yes, the Board of Health tests the water. and
Weekly,
the
right?
Parks, weekly, yes.
Yeah,
And the Parks Department obviously runs it.
yeah.
Thanks, sir.
I mean, it was probably 80 yards long, 20 yards wide. I don't know how deep the sand was, but if you assume it was a foot, there's 1,600 cubic yards of sand
Still
there.
pretty significant.
You know, that's, yeah, definitely triaxle loads full.
Because your triaxles, you can put what, 28
I think it was 17 cubic yards for a triaxle.
for the triaxle.
Yeah.
So
That
that's
all
quite a few
depends
trips.
on- Yeah, yeah.
And what kind of machinery's pushing it around
It
too?
was the highway department that did it, so. And
You gotta talk to Franklin.
yeah. And I've also heard talks of them wanting to put tailings in the parking lot of Clear Pond. I don't know if that's within our jurisdiction, it's kind of close to the
It
road,
is
but I would question if it
Tailings?
was. Yeah,
Yeah.
like roadway tailings.
roadway, small stones,
Yeah,
the stuff that's left over from screening,
yeah.
Oh, all right, not like crushed,
not crushed.
not crushed,
Not
leftover
reprocessed?
concrete or
Not
reprocessed.
Right.
reprocessed
No.
is different.
I can't say I don't know. I just know it was more donated material from,
It's worth finding out.
yeah. Regardless, I think they need to file in front of us to at
Or
least
at
have
least
this
let
on
us
the
know what's
record.
going on between the playground people and Franklin Manise, our roadway guy.
Well, they should be able to get verification of the sand from wherever they got it.
Yeah,
So they should be at least submitting that.
I'll start
We
with,
know that
Right,
dirt.
and machinery
dirt's-
working near the
Dirt's not
water.
dirt cheap, so when people give it away, there's gotta be a reason.
right. And that's the fear, you know, trying to get rid of some contaminated material that would cost you a lot of money to get rid of.
Yeah.
And any work like that near the water should
Yeah.
have some conditioning on it.
so I guess we'll look for an update at the next meeting and you've got another project.
one more, another action item. Well,
I have one more last question about.
Was Josh done?
Oh, I'm
Oh,
sorry.
yeah, I'm all set. I'm good. I'm good.
I waited so patiently last time and then I didn't get my stop to get my question in. Now you made me forget my question. Oh, 2 Bedford Street.
Oh, weren't they supposed to be coming back to us?
Or at least see a plan?
They were supposed to get an improved plan, 10%.
I just want to see their
Less.
plan.
Yeah.
I want to see your
Oh,
plan,
this is
Mark.
who, Raul?
oh, 2 Bedford Street, yeah.
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 Yeah, we were supposed to.
Remember, it was on our last agenda and then it just kind of went away. And I guess it's
Did they reach out to you at that point?
no.
They had said there was a plan coming, and it
Right.
was something like
But we never got
10%
it.
reduction.
Impermeable
Impermeable
coverage.
cover. Yeah. That's what I remember from that. And then.
Was it
nothing.
approved? Planning board approve it?
I'll reach out to the town planner and have him send a copy to you to circulate or through Lori.
Cause he might
Of the
need,
last one we saw. 'cause
I
know
wouldn't
that
do anything until they get in
They
touch
needed to
with
come
us.
back with a plan for us to sign. We haven't signed a copy yet because they needed to make a few changes on the print.
Right, they still need to come before the board here. We didn't sign off, did we?
yeah, we gave
that
an order
last
of
one?
conditions on a different plan, so
Yeah.
now we need to see the new plan and see
Right.
if we need to amend our order of conditions.
Yeah. If anything, it's less impactful, but nonetheless.
Lesson back to
Right.
learn, yeah. But you need
So.
to plan the record.
Yeah, you can't say that till you see the plan.
Yeah, it's good, it's good that every board has a different plan for the same property.
That's taking a step backwards.
Yeah.
That used to happen all the time.
It took us quite a few years to get it to the point
Past
where
that, yeah.
the plans coincided.
Yeah.
Anything else going on? This is,
Except for the excitement.
I don't have any new business.
Okay, John?
No, I'm good.
No, it's your
Oh.
turn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
aye.
Bye.